What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be working on the MR2. This is going to be a fun, short little project. It's a satisfying one if you can get one, but we're doing a lightweight battery. So today we will be using the ATX30-HD battery from Anti-Gravity. I have one in my Alpha, I have the smaller one, the ATX20. This one is the 30 just because it's going to be driven more often, I would say, than the Alpha, so I got a little bit of a bigger one. But it still packs a punch and it is extremely light. We're going to check the differences in weight when I remove the other battery, so let's get to it. I wish I was kidding, but this is actually how the car came. There's a piece of wood used as a spacer to bolt down the battery. It's crafty and probably works, but that's pretty janky. All right, here we go. So I weigh 142.7 with the battery that was originally in the car, 169.6. All right, so the original was 27 pounds and the new battery is 150.5, 7.8 pounds. That makes the weight savings 19.2 pounds. That's pretty good. From the front, it looks slightly smaller. It's about an inch shorter and narrower. From the top view, you can really see the size difference. Hopefully this makes some room in the engine bay. So along with the battery, we got terminal posts. These and the battery I got from Pegasus Racing. I usually get all my kind of race car stuff from there. Battery tie downs, I personally think, are essentially all the same. If it's the same material, it'll probably do a similar job. And this was like $5-7 on Amazon. So it's a simple design. I wanted it black. Definitely doesn't look OEM, but at least it'll blend with the battery. So I guess let's place the battery where we want it. Holy smokes, that's a lot of extra room. This battery tray in the bottom, I feel like we need to trim this. I mean, this is a big surface for not a big battery here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's so much you could trim. So let's do that real quick. All right, after a quick trim and a little bit of a clean, we can put that tray in the bottom. Fits the new battery a lot better. So let's feed the J-hook through the tie down, hook it onto the bottom of the tray, throw the washer and the nut. This is obviously way too tall, but we can always trim that down. Let's just see if we can somewhat secure this first. All right, so it's kind of tied down. Obviously these need to be trimmed, so let's mark this up real quick. All right, now that both are cut, they should be able to lock down pretty easily. Nice and sturdy, okay. That actually works out because you can still honestly push this button to check the status of the battery, and everything looks pretty good. So these terminal covers we're gonna pop out and put the posts on these. We don't need these two back ones unless I'm gonna install something else on it, but for now, just putting the original cables on. So the ATX30 itself comes with these little blocks that are threaded inside. So we're gonna slide those into each side, the positive and the negative. All right, so here's the positive post. We're gonna try to line it up with the thread in the bottom and the block. Put the screw in, try to screw it in. It should tighten eventually. Yeah, there you go. And then the same exact thing with the negative. Posts are in, and now we just connect it all. This female part of the terminal is like really bent up, and I'm pretty sure this thread is kind of stripped, so I'm gonna change that later, but for now, just to change the battery, we're gonna install this how it is. All right guys, it's actually the next day, and I just couldn't stand seeing these really corroded terminals on this new battery, and I just didn't want any intermittent starting issues and whatnot, so I got this on Amazon actually. This was like $8 or something. It's just new terminals. We're gonna install it, and that'll give us some peace of mind that this is not gonna be an issue when starting. Nut was screwed off. Now let's undo this. I mean, granted I bent it a bit, but man, this thing is super corroded. I'm gonna remove this for ease of installation, and I'll put covers on later. But there's no cover on the negative terminal either, so it just looks weird. Okay. There we go. All right, we're just gonna sand down these surfaces because the contacts of these need to be clean, and you can see here, there's a lot of gunk and a little bit of surface rust, so let's just make sure the contacts are clean. All right, now we got the positive terminal. Let's undo the bolt. I believe you just put these through these holes, so let's try this. Goes through here, and then through the other one, then you just bolt it up. And the nuts go on the bottom so that the red shows on top. All right, so the positive terminal was really easy. We're not gonna put it on just yet. Let's do the negative one next. Let's redo that. Since we're already here, I'm gonna add a little bit of heat shrink on this just to protect a little bit more of the metal. And I might tighten this up. Or use this one. It's much easier to use because it's a little bit bigger. I just don't know if it'll shrink all the way down, but it definitely does cover the other sleeve. Honestly, I think that worked. That looks pretty good. Okay, what do we do with this? That's a question. Make this part as narrow as possible. All right, it slipped over. Okay, something like that. There you go. Just looks a bit more finished, and it's gonna protect it a little bit more from corrosion. Now on to the negative one. So this is crimped obviously, so we're just gonna have to cut this off and kind of start all over and open this up. I do not have a proper splicing tool, so we're just gonna use the good old blade. Cool. Simple. All right, now we're gonna make our own circle connection here. These were already made, so that was easy, but for this one, we are first gonna start with putting the heat shrink first so that we don't have to worry about feeding this through after. There we go. All right, so that's in. Now these, I believe, are called copper wire lugs, and these make a connection so that you're able to bolt them down to things like a battery. Try to group all the wires together so that it slides in. So all the wires are in this lug. All right, so this is a crimping tool. My first time using it, got on Amazon for 30 bucks, and it's extremely sturdy. So if you can see, here, let me undo this. Takes a bit of force. Hopefully it's in focus, but you can see numbers here on the crimping tool, and if you push this down and rotate it, there's different sizes. Obviously you have to match the other side, but I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but on the lugs, it'll say what size kind of this lug is, and that's what you're gonna wanna use on here. It'll match the corresponding number. So it says 6 on here, so we're gonna find the 6 on here and then rotate it to that. Let me see. No, that's 2. Okay, that's 6. I believe you just kinda feed this through, and then you tighten it up, hold on. So there it is in the tool. Moment of truth, I'm probably gonna break something. Yeah, I don't know if it has to close all the way. I mean, I guess so. All right, I closed it all the way, and then take it out. Oh, geez. A lot of pressure on that tool, so be careful. This is completely crimped, so that's not going anywhere. I'm pulling on it hard, and it's not coming off, so that's a good sign. Heat it up a little bit. Obviously, point away from the battery. All right, look at that. We made a connection. I mean, that looks kind of legit. It kind of looks like I know what I'm doing. All right, we are nearing the end. Let's just connect this in, tighten the nut. Okay, we're gonna put the positive terminal first. Feed that through. Feed the other one through. Positive is on. Now let's put the negative. Guys, this is super sturdy. Nothing's going anywhere. Perfect. Safety first. Look at that. Overall, I'm super happy with how this came out. If your terminals are rusted and really corroded like mine, I think it's definitely worth a few bucks to change them out. This engine bay is one step closer to how I want it. If you guys liked the video, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. It really means a lot. See you next time.